A man buys a one-way airline ticket. He boards a flight carrying an ordinary briefcase. Hours later, he calmly tells a flight attendant that he has a bomb. He demands $200,000. The authorities pay. The plane takes off into a stormy night. Then, somewhere over the wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, he jumps from the aircraft and disappears forever. No body. No confirmed identity. No arrest. No solution. More than 50 years later, the mystery of D.B. Cooper remains one of the most baffling cases in criminal history. But what if the most shocking part of the story isn't that he escaped? What if investigators were looking for the wrong man all along? Before we dive deeply, kindly subscribe to my page, follow, like, and share for more hidden history, untold stories, and fascinating historical mysteries. November 24, 1971. The day before Thanksgiving. Air travel was very different from today. Passengers could walk directly to the gate. No metal detectors. No ID verification. A man entered Portland International Airport. He appeared completely ordinary. Middle-aged. Business suit. Dark tie. Black raincoat. Nothing about him attracted attention. He purchased a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper. His destination was Seattle. The flight was Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. No one knew they were about to witness history. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a folded note to a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. At first she assumed it was a phone number. She slipped it into her purse. Then Cooper quietly leaned toward her. "Miss, you'd better look at that note." The note claimed he had a bomb. When she sat beside him, Cooper opened his briefcase. Inside appeared to be wires, cylinders, and a battery. Whether it was real remains unknown. But the threat was taken seriously. The hijacking had begun. Cooper remained calm, polite, professional. Unlike many criminals, he showed no signs of panic. His demands were specific. $200,000 in cash. For parachutes. A fuel truck waiting in Seattle. Authorities faced a difficult choice. Refuse and risk lives. Or comply. They chose to cooperate. As the aircraft circled above Seattle, FBI agents and airline officials scrambled to assemble the ransom. The shocking claim emerged almost immediately. Some investigators believed Cooper was not an amateur criminal. They suspected he possessed specialized knowledge. His behavior suggested familiarity with aircraft. His instructions were precise. His composure was remarkable. Was he a military veteran? A pilot? A parachutist? Or perhaps someone connected to aviation? The mystery began before he ever left the plane. After landing in Seattle, Cooper released the passengers. Authorities delivered the ransom. The parachutes arrived. Fueling was completed. Only the flight crew remained on board. The aircraft then departed once again. Its destination, Mexico City. But Cooper had different plans. As the Boeing 727 flew south, Cooper instructed the crew to remain in the cockpit. The aircraft climbed into darkness. Rain hammered the fuselage. Strong winds swept across the Pacific Northwest. Then something happened. A warning light indicated movement near the rear staircase. Cooper had lowered the aircraft's rear stairs. At approximately 8:13 p.m., the aircraft experienced a sudden change in pressure. Investigators believe that was the moment Cooper jumped. Into darkness. Into a storm. Into history. When the plane landed, Cooper was gone. The parachutes were missing. The money was gone. No trace of the hijacker remained on board. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in its history. Search teams scoured forests. Aircraft searched from above. Divers inspected rivers. Nothing. The hijacker had vanished. Certain facts remain established. The ransom consisted of $200,000 in marked bills. The jump likely occurred over remote wilderness. Weather conditions were severe. No confirmed evidence proves Cooper survived. But no evidence proves he died either. That uncertainty is the foundation of the mystery. The FBI investigation became known as NORJAC, short for Northwest Hijacking. Thousands of leads arrived. Hundreds of suspects were examined. Experts reconstructed flight paths. Searchers combed mountains and forests. Years passed. Still no answer. The case became one of the most extensive investigations in FBI history. Then came a breakthrough, or so it seemed. In 1980, a young boy discovered several bundles of decaying cash along the Columbia River. The serial numbers matched Cooper's ransom money. The discovery shocked investigators. But instead of solving the case, it created more questions. How did the money get there? Why only part of the ransom? Where was the rest? The mystery deepened. One often overlooked detail is Cooper's cultural impact. The hijacker became a legend. Books were written. Movies were produced. Countless theories emerged. Many viewed him not as a criminal but as a folk anti-hero. That public fascination sometimes obscured an important reality. This was still a serious federal crime. And the victims aboard Flight 305 were very real. Over the decades, investigators examined numerous suspects. Former military personnel, aviation experts, career criminals, ordinary citizens. Each suspect seemed promising, until evidence fell apart. No suspect was ever conclusively identified as Cooper. The list grew. The mystery endured. The greatest twist may be this. Many experts believe Cooper could not have survived. The conditions were brutal. Nighttime, heavy rain, freezing temperatures, dangerous terrain. Yet others disagree. Some point out that Cooper selected parachutes carefully. He appeared calm, prepared, knowledgeable. If he planned successfully, survival may have been possible. The truth remains unknown. Several controversies continue dividing researchers. Was Dan Cooper his real name? Did he have military experience? Was he even American? Some investigators believe clues point toward Canada because a popular comic book hero named Dan Cooper existed there. Others dismiss the connection. The debate continues. In 2016, the FBI officially suspended active investigation of the case. Not because it was solved, but because resources were needed elsewhere. The mystery remained open. No definitive answer had emerged. One of the most famous fugitives in American history remained unidentified. On a rainy November night in 1971, a man boarded an airplane as an ordinary passenger. Hours later, he became a legend. Did D.B. Cooper die during the jump? Did he escape with the money and live quietly under a new identity? Or was he questioned by investigators without anyone realizing who he really was? More than 50 years later, the evidence remains incomplete. The suspects remain disputed. The truth remains hidden. And somewhere within the forests, rivers, and forgotten records of the Pacific Northwest may lie the final clue that answers the question once and for all. Who is D.B. Cooper? And how did he vanish without a trace? Please don't forget to subscribe to my page, follow, like, and share for more hidden history, untold stories, and fascinating historical mysteries.